We, the youth, are the sons and the daughters of Africa. And we stand here as the hope of Africa. All that we are asking for is that in the next century to come, Africa must be one country, with one capital, with one currency, with one language. We are the future of Africa. In the days went ago, the people like Gaddafi, Sankara, Nkrumah stood up and they silenced them. Now is the turn of Traoré and they want to silence him. When they were silencing Nkrumah, Gaddafi and the rest, Africa did not consent. But now, Africa is concerned and Africa is standing tall. And we are saying we will not allow them to do what they did to Nkrumah, to do what they did to Sankara, to do what they did to Lumumba. Traoré is our last hero. And we Africans and the youth of Africa will do everything it takes to protect him. We know that with Traoré, we are going to have one Africa. We are going to have one army. And we are going to have one central bank.
In 1776, in the United States of America, the United States citizens, so-called the founding fathers of the United States of America, said to the British that we are tired of taxation without representation. We people should get out of our land, even though we know that land is not. So when they do it, it's good, right? The United States citizens sack British from their land, right? So if Africa is sacking the French and whosoever out of Africa, it's normal. So the United Nations in the Charter has the right to self-determination. It's a human right. Everybody has the right to establish a political plan that will serve the people. So what Ibrahim Traoré is doing is he has liberated the people and he's serving the people. And we must protect Ibrahim Traoré. Tabaya! We have our friends from the CPP who have message for Africa. So boy! Please, there is a missing but found stand here. So boy, where is the energy? Where is the energy? On the emancipation, the energy should be stronger. Where is the energy?
Energy is here.
You see the African fight. Less than 1 hour. The African fight is going down. It's going down. I can see people giving up, more or less, trying to relax their limbs. When we are fighting, we are not relaxing. So boy, today is a very important day. And coming from the CPP tells you that we recognize today, if there is anybody who must link himself to the CPP and African Union and Pan-Africanism, then it's Society for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That is why on such a day, the CPP will never be left out. In 1963, a Gambian nationalist said something at the African Union grounds. He told the president that the African Union, that is the OAU, will be stronger and inspire the freedom and total independence of all African nations to eradicate imperialism and colonialism, and in the end neo-colonialism. But if it collapses, that will be our disappointment and bitterness. What that man said in 1963 is happening in 2025. The African Union has not lived up to its expectation. We are experiencing the bitterness and the disappointment. What is happening in Niger? What is happening in Mali? What is happening in Burkina Faso? It's a recall to the call that was made
Aliou Ibrahim Traoré in 1963 that if African Union does not work, Africans will be in bitterness and disappointment. We are still in that bitterness and disappointment. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta, and the president of Niger are simply sending a message of Francophone West African Republican status. The message the CPP is sending to the French, supported by America, is that all what is happening in Burkina Faso is a journey towards Republican status. The Francophone West African countries have gotten independence, we all know. After independence, there is another layer they didn't get. All historians, all politicians knows that in 1957, when Ghana had independence, that was not the end. We have to go to 1960 to attain a Republican status. This, the Francophone West African countries have not gotten. They had independence, but France was still lacking in there. France was still taking away their resources. France was controlling their military activities. France was controlling their cultural activities. What Ibrahim Traoré is simply saying is that now we want that total freedom. So the message to President Macron is simple. Why do you want to resist a territory that is asking for its Republican status? That is the only reason why the CPP is on board. We are on board because it is another African territory, Francophone West Africa, calling for their Republican status. That France, enough is enough. That give us that freedom for us to manage our economic affairs. Give us that freedom so that we don't use something called CFA, franc.